welcome. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV and you're watching Head to Head. There is a widely used formula for making life of the people in any country much better. It involves politicians, various organizations, and, for the most important part, ordinary people residing in the country. How much of a vital role do Ukrainian citizens play in the decision-making process in the country? To talk about this, we're joined in the studio today by Maria Gryschenko. She's an analyst with the CEDO think tank. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you for inviting me here.
Okay. So Ukraine is a democratic country, which means that the residents of Ukraine, the citizens of Ukraine, have the full right to participate in the decision-making progress. How much are Ukrainians involved in the decision-making process in Ukraine?
Okay, we have different researches in big cities in Ukraine, and most of all we pay attention now to Kyiv. And I can say that today we can say that something like 20% of people engage in different activities, and they can influence on the decision making in the cities.
Could you name at least 3 of those activities?
The most popular now in Kyiv is the participatory budgeting. So people can vote for civil projects that can improve their cities. It's first of all, and also it's democracy. Different tools such as petitions, but I think that the most important today that we should concern with is the not only online methods of engagement people, but also offline. And these methods are not so popular today in Kyiv, but there are several, I think, good examples when people take part in different projects that's concerned with developing of public spaces and improvement of their local areas.
So you just mentioned that you are not talking about Kyiv when we talk about offline activities. Are we talking about rural areas here?
When talking about rural areas, yes, in this case, the offline activities and different ways of engagement people are really popular because they have the community and it's quite small, and people can make decisions in the community, talking each other, has discussions, so it's more helpful for them to have discussions, I know, in their councils or somewhere in the libraries, and they can discuss and make decisions. But when we're talking today about big cities, most popular became this democracy. But I think that we also should understand that we have not so high level of internetization, and not all people have possibilities to take part in democracy tools. So that's why I think that even in big cities, we should work with communities and engage them.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Apart from internet, apart from being online and voting online and participating online, what are the other ways of getting Ukrainians more involved in the process of decision-making and to better the quality of life for Ukrainians within the country?
We have one project in Kiev, and also there is a project like that in Lviv, when the city divided into different local communities. And for all these communities, it's not like administrative regions. It's community where people know each other, or they have the same identity. For example, in Podil district, we have Podil, and people who live in Podil have the identity of this place, and they are the community. And so the system is that for this community, we have moderators that can work with the community, that can understand the needs of the community, the problems of the community, and work with that. So when we go to the people and say, we want to help you to solve your needs, what you need, what you want, they became more responsible for their decisions, and also they have more possibilities to have real influence on the process, on the city. So it's not only about voting for something, or for example petitions. It's also something like voting. But
any particular project you would like to talk about right now?
I think that really good project, and the good example is, for example, the project in the Obolon district in Kyiv. There are several parks, but we have, for example, Park Natalka, that is quite a big park. And this park today developed a lot, and it really looks like a good green zone, and people like to be there to spend their time. And this park is the result of such a project, when people from local communities, social activists, and the municipal, they work together and create this park together, because people really was involved in the process. There were several researchers, there were discussions with the local community. So now we have such a good park, and it's really good example of such a project.
Within the frame of your work, do you actually share, like for example, you have results that appeared in Kyiv which are quite successful and you like to boast of? Do you share these results with the little towns or villages in rural areas, just to show how important it is to be a part of the decision-making process?
Our organization now, we are not working now with small cities.
You're just working with big cities.
Yeah, because we have not such a great possibility, because it took a lot of time, resources.
But does anybody at all keep track of what is happening in rural areas?
But there are several organizations that works with the small cities, and what is important, in the process of decentralization, there are a lot of local community activists who deals with their cities and create projects. For example, in Novomoskovsk, there is one civil society organization that provide the strategy for city development from the civil organizations. Or, for example, also there are a lot of projects in different cities, and they became quite more popular, I think.
So you, at the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned that only 20% of people who currently reside in Kyiv actually participate in all these initiatives. This is not a very big number. According to your research, will these numbers grow? What's your forecast?
I think that it's quite difficult to say what is good or bad when we're talking about the percentage of people who involve. Yeah, the 20% of citizens of big cities, they involve in really projects where they can not only vote, where they can really participate, and they think that they are activists.
Also,
but for example, there is several mechanisms. For example, the consultation service 1551 in Kyiv, and quite a lot of people work with this tool, and it's something like 70%. But it's not active engagement. It's just voting or sending the SMS.
And what is the biggest part of the people who are involved? Are those youngsters, the youth? Are those people of the elderly age? Are those middle-aged people? Who are those active people who would like to take part?
I think that it is really interesting that, for example, in Kyiv, in such districts like Podil, and we also have research in Obolon district, really we can't say that it's such a particular social group. All people from different age and different gender, they take part in different activities. And I can say that the most important to have previous experience of such activities. first of all, and also what can influence it's the level of education and the time that a person lives in particular area and the identity with this area. So.
Okay, for example, if I want to become a part of some initiative, what do I do? What are my actions?
If you're an active person, you can go to our website, Mr. site. It's an online journal about the city and the different city events. You can go there. And there we have the database of all NGOs in big cities of Ukraine and also some small cities. You can find the NGO you like, so you can watch what they do and in which sphere. So you can go there and you can just get information about NGOs. But if you don't want to work with NGOs, you just can take part in the participatory budgeting, and I think it's a really good tool to become active in your district.
Also, what if I'm not a part of an NGO, but I do have an initiative that I want to post on the website? Am I allowed to do that? And how do I get people to help me to become interested in my initiative and to get involved?
You can put the information on our website, even if you haven't registered NGO. But I think that the first...
So as a citizen, just as a citizen?
Just as a citizen, yeah. But I think that for you, the first step can be just go around your district and talk with people who live there, with your neighbors, and maybe you will have you will create the community of this place, and you will find the people who can help you.
And then post something.
Yeah, and then started something. Yeah.
Okay.
And you should have the project plan, and then you also can go to the municipal and talk with them that you want.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing this with us.
Thank you.
This was Maria Gryschenko. She's an analyst with the CEDO think tank. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned with UATV.